What's up, everybody? This is Terry with Collabo Creative, a local service design company here in Indianapolis, and it is another Wednesday, so I am coming at you with 5 minutes of tips and tricks to improve collaboration and creativity in your business and life. So as a company, what we do is we help organizations connect with the people they serve, from their customers all the way through to their team members. And so part of that means thinking about how do your team member experiences or your company culture impact your customers' experience. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. If you keep up with the whole customer experience space, and if you don't, it's okay. You don't have to. That's not your job. It's our job. But if you do keep up with the customer experience space, you might be familiar with a woman. Her name is Blake Morgan. She is the senior contributor for Forbes magazine, and she talks all about customer experience. And every year she puts out her predictions for trends for customer experience in the upcoming year. So of course, in December of 2019, she pushed out her trends for 2020. One of the key trends that she pulls out in that article is that culture is now #1 over customers. Interesting, right? Because we always think the customer is first. Now, if you're coming more from a business management background, not a customer experience side, you might be familiar with the quote that was made famous by Peter Drucker, where he says that culture eats strategy for breakfast. So how does this all come together, and why are we talking about culture and strategy? Now, if we take what Blake Morgan is talking about with culture and customer experience, and we take what Peter Drucker is talking about with culture and strategy, there is a connection that takes us from culture to customer experience. And somewhere in there, strategy plays a role. So that's what we're going to dig a little bit deeper into today. So let's pretend you wanted to go and have an authentic Japanese tea experience, right? And if you're in Indianapolis, good luck finding that place, but maybe it's out there. If you do find one, please contact me and let me know, because I have been on the lookout for one. But just pretend for a bit that you wanted to go and have this traditional Japanese tea house experience, and you found this place and it was amazing. So you make reservations, right? And you're all excited to go to this place. You drive there, you arrive, and then you are met with this amazing looking gateway that you have to drive through. And then after you drive through this wooden gateway, you see these kind of tall buildings that look like pagodas starting to arise in front of you. And there's lots of gravel along that walkway. It's not paved. There's a lot of grass just all over, all along the sides. And it's very rustic looking. Now, when you come up to the area where you're going to enter, there's wooden stairs. And at the top of those stairs, you see a whole bunch of slippers just set alongside of the doorway. Now, as you enter into this tea house, all of the environment that's been situated around you has already impacted your experience. Now, if you think through that entire physical environment where you're driving through these wooden gateways, up the gravel road, all of the rustic kind of outdoor landscaping, and the wooden stairs that lead to the top where there's shoes set aside by the doorway. All of that environment and space was built on that culture. It's built on the values and the attitudes and the behaviors of that culture. And that will have huge impact on your experience of that tea house. Now, we haven't even gotten inside the tea house, and we won't go there because you should just go and have an experience like that. But just leading up to that entrance has already shaped what your experience was like. So when we're talking about culture, a lot of times what organizations are looking at is, how do we set up an organizational culture that helps us drive, attract, and maintain talent or people? And oftentimes we forget that that culture has a direct impact on your customer's experience. So our tip for you this week is to make sure that you set your culture first. Now, that seems like a really huge tip. How do you set your company culture and make sure that you set that first? But keep that in mind, because that's what we want you to think about, is that you're thinking about what your company culture looks like and how that's impacting your customer experience. Even though it's not the easiest thing to do, the best thing to do is start now. And so here's 3 things that you can do to help you do that. First, make sure you establish what your culture is today. And what that means is do some research and find out, how do your team members talk about your company's culture? How do they describe it? What would they say about it, right? And once you have that picture set of this is where we are today, then second, Help them envision, work together to envision what you want your company culture to look like. How would you like to see it? How do you want people to describe that culture? What kinds of values do they have and hold? And what kind of attitudes do people have with each other? And how do you behave together as a team? And then that last piece is putting it into action. So how do you exemplify your culture? What are those behaviors and actions that connect with the values and attitudes that you hold dear? And if you can do those three things, it's really about getting to the point where you're able to say, we live our values. When you can say yes to that, then you know that you have a strong company culture designed to have a positive impact on your customer experience. That's all I got for you for this week. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you liked this video, give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. See you later.
Do you have any questions or topics you'd like us to tackle? Shoot over an email to hello@collabocreative.com.